Hey, what's going on, guys? Adam here with AmericanMuscle.com. Today I'm bringing you a detailed review of Anderson Composites GT350R style rear spoiler in the carbon fiber finish, available for all 2015 and newer Mustangs. So in this video, I'll be going over the styling and appearance you can expect when picking up the GT350R style spoiler, as well as the construction and materials given the nature of the carbon fiber. I'll also touch on the installation and walk you through that, which I'll tell you up front will get a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, simply because it will require some drilling into your factory trunk lid. Not too hard of a job, but some things I do want to point out up front. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. The Anderson Composites GT350R style rear spoiler in the carbon fiber finish, definitely going to be for the 2015 and up Mustang owner out there looking to pick up arguably the most aggressive rear spoiler for their S550, similar to that of which is found on the baddest Mustang to date, the Shelby GT350R. So the first thing I want to touch on is obviously one of the most important aspects to this part is the construction and materials. Now this one is going to be a very real carbon fiber part, similar to that of the ones on the new Shelby GT350R, which has a ton of new carbon fiber parts coming from the factory. Now you can pick this one up to fit your S550 of any model, the GT, V6, or EcoBoost, to fit perfectly on your deck lid with a little modification, which I'll touch on later. But I do want to point out this is a very real carbon fiber part that gives off a very real carbon fiber appearance with a very glossy weave. This one is definitely going to give you the same visual effect you would expect from a real carbon part. Now, if you take a close look at the new Shelby GT350R, you can tell there are a lot of unique parts that make it the aggressor that it is. Now, with the carbon fiber wing, that is definitely one of the most noticeable and most standing out products on that vehicle, the new 2017 GT350R. But up close and personal, if you ever get to see one of them up close, you'll notice that the wing actually looks like a gloss black. That is because after its true carbon fiber construction, it is actually painted gloss black from the factory. Now, when picking up a carbon fiber part, a lot of people do want to see that visual weave showing off its true construction. The GT350R does wear that gloss black painting on top of the carbon fiber construction, covering that true visual appearance, but this one here, this replica style GT350R rear spoiler in the carbon fiber, is going to wear that carbon construction weave visual effect. Now, obviously, there are other benefits to picking up this GT350R style rear spoiler in the carbon fiber finish other than styling and appearance. Now, styling appearance, definitely a big thing for some of the guys out there shopping for another wing to replace the stock one, but this one is actually going to be incredibly lightweight when compared to the factory spoiler. You can see for yourself if you do pick one up. Now, I want to point out that this is going to be beneficial for the guys out there with the S550s taking it over to the track and are trying to shed a little bit of weight, which in turn sheds off some time off the quarter mile. This one isn't going to make the world of difference, but it is worth pointing out and reiterating that with carbon fiber comes a drop in weight compared to a stock part. Now, speaking of taking your S550 to the track, I want to point out one of the benefits and real functionalities of this particular spoiler, definitely going to be downforce. Now, if you're not really aware of what that means, let me explain. So Ford and Shelby teamed up to make this beast a very aerodynamic track king. This rear spoiler was designed to be aerodynamic enough to push down the rear end to make sure the power at the tires is planted on the ground to keep traction. Now, with that said, if this seems like something that will fit your style of driving, hopefully off-road, then this is definitely going to be the best of the best out there to keep that downforce at your rear wheels. Now, if you are interested in picking up the GT350R style rear spoiler in the carbon fiber, expect to be spending just north of $700. Very common price tag for true carbon fiber parts for the S550. Now, with this, you're not only picking up the true styling and appearance of the beastly 350R, but you're also picking up an incredible help when it comes to downforce at speed being the big key word there, as well as picking up a very lightweight park over your stock rear spoiler to help you guys at the track. Now, switching gears over to the installation process of this video, I do want to point out again that this one will require some minor drilling into your factory trunk lid, which is not a terrible job to do, but it will bump the difficulty up one notch on our meter here, just simply because it does add an extra step that some people may not be comfortable with. Now, with that said, if you're not entirely comfortable with doing this yourself, there is no shame in handing this one over to a professional to get it done properly. So if you are interested in taking care of this job yourself, let's just jump into things so I can walk you through that process. First things first, you want to pop your trunk lid open and remove the trunk liner by taking off some of the clips and the trunk latch cover. From there, you want to take off the plugs covering the rear stock spoiler bolts. Once that's off, you want to take those bolts off just to remove your rear spoiler. At this point, just a quick tip when taking off the factory rear spoiler. Now it is on there from the factory using 3M automotive bonding tape, so there might be some sticky residue. To get off that factory rear spoiler, you might want to use some kind of wedge or something not sharp enough to damage your factory paint when taking it off. If you do have access to a heat gun, that might help you a little bit in removing the factory sticky tape from the paint job, or if you have a special gun to get that off, that definitely helps as well. And once you get that rear spoiler off of your factory trunk lid, you want to mark the locations you'll be doing some drilling for the GT350R style rear spoiler on the actual trunk lid. To do so, there are marking pins provided in your kit you want to stick into the pre-drilled holes on the actual spoiler to make sure you're marking locations. You want to set the spoiler into place and tape down those marking pins, remove the GT350R spoiler with the marking pins still in place on the trunk lid, and you'll be using those to show you the locations you'll need to be drilling in. So once you get your holes drilled properly, you'll be using the hardware provided in the kit to install the GT350R style spoiler into place. You'll be installing those bolts through the holes that you unplugged in the beginning of the installation process, and then reinstalling the trunk liner just the way you took it off, and then you'll be good to go. Overall, expect to be taking about an hour or two on the installation, depending on how familiar you are with the drilling process. Make sure everything's done safe and secure, protecting your factory paint in the process. Now with that said, this one does get a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter simply because of that extra step for the drilling some people may not be comfortable with. So guys, just to quickly wrap things up, if you're the owner of a 2015 or newer Mustang and you're looking to capture the exterior appearance of the baddest production Mustang to date while also upgrading its downforce and aerodynamics, you might want to check out the Anderson Composites GT350R style rear spoiler in carbon fiber, available right here at AmericanMuscle.com.